Okay, guys, I'm here for my review of WWE WrestleMania 32. I'm a little bit sick and have a sore throat, so, yeah. But, it took place last night, April the 3rd, 2016, on the WWE Network. This was a 5-hour WrestleMania, and if you count the 2-hour kickoff show, a 7-hour show. Pardon me. I did watch the kickoff show, but for the purposes of the review, nothing's going to actually be... The kickoff show is not going to be considered a part of the main show, as per usual. But I will talk about the kickoff show. You had 3 matches on the kickoff show. You had Kalisto defeat Ryback for the U.S. title in a match that wasn't really much of anything. And I don't really think did anything for either Kalisto or Ryback. You had the big build of Lana's in-ring debut that goes nowhere, and the fact that Team Total Diva defeat Team Bad and Blonde, and Brie did not even pin Lana. Brie should have pinned Lana, or Lana should have pinned Brie. Then you make the entire build-up of Lana to have a point. Now you have no point. And then you had the Usos versus the Dudleys in another quick match. Usos won. I don't get the real hate for the Usos that they got post-match, but what can you do? So on to the main show of WrestleMania 32, which took place, as I said, last night from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, or Arlington, Texas. In Arlington, Texas. The opening contest of the main show, a 7-way ladder match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder versus Stardust versus Sin Cara. Stardust is wearing polka dots to honor Dusty Rhodes, which is nice, but didn't the Stardust character once say that Dusty Rhodes was dead to him anyway? So why would he now be honoring that? I don't get that. Including having a polka-dotted ladder with him. This is what it was expected to be, a car crash match, because that's what this was expected to be, a car crash match. It was a car crash. It looked at one point like they were going to have Owens or Zayn win, but Zayn knocks Owens off, does like an exploder suplex through the ladder, in which Owens sells like he's dead or something. And then Miz pushes Zayn off the ladder, and it looks like Miz is going to win, which I know would not have made a lot of people happy. But then out of nowhere, Zack Ryder ends up winning. Zack Ryder would not have been my pick to win this match. In fact, I thought it was going to be either Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. But then I started thinking, they're making a big deal of the fact that Zack Ryder's never had his music played at WrestleMania, so, I mean, I'm a fan of Zack Ryder, but let's face it, he's been irrelevant. So he's not going to hold this title too long. He's probably just going to drop it tonight on Raw, if anything. I hope he makes it to Extreme Rules, but I seriously doubt he will, because the last title he held singly, he didn't even make a full pay-per-view. So, match though, 3.5 stars. Good match. So then we get AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, Part 4. By the way, I knew Chris Jericho was going to win this match. It's a lot like the Sting situation from last year, meaning that Vince did not create AJ Styles, so Vince was not going to let AJ win here, unless it was possibly his first match. But since they already done the day after the Royal Rumble this AJ Jericho thing, it's going to go, and now they're tied again. So I imagine it'll have another match, probably at Extreme Rules, which will finally end this thing between AJ and Jericho. But a good match. It was a 4-star match. And yeah, okay, Jericho is only around to put people over. I admit that. But since you turned him finally full-on heel, you have to actually pay that off in a way and build that up, or the win doesn't mean anything. So, yeah. 4 stars. So then we get one of the stinker matches of the night. as it's the New Day versus the League of Nations. This is a 6-man tag. It's formulaic. It's 1.5 stars. League of Nations win. And then League of Nations get beat up by Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So you made a forgettable match have a WrestleMania moment in it. Good job, WWE. Good job. That's about all, though, about this match is going to be memorable for. So then we get the no-holds-barred street fight, which I still say is a misnomer to say a street fight is no-holds-barred because, well, it pretty much isn't a holds-barred match anyway. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a very underwhelming match that had potential to be so much better, and it wasn't. This is predominantly a squash. Ambrose got enough offense into probably to where it can't be categorized a squash, but it pretty much is. Lesnar ends up winning with an F5 on a whole bunch of chairs. 1.5 stars. Could have been better, though. That's what the thing is. This is a very disappointing match. It could have been a lot better. 1.5 stars. And Ambrose should have won here, just so you know. So then we get the triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship, as we're finally getting rid of the Butterfly Diva Championship. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. This is a 4-star match. I think it's now become the best women's match in WrestleMania, surpassing Trish Stratus and Mickie James, which up until last night was the best women's match in WrestleMania. And I don't have a problem with Charlotte winning. While I do think it should have been Sasha Banks, while I do think that, I don't necessarily have a problem with Charlotte winning per se. Although I wish if you were going to have her win, you wouldn't have Ric Flair help her as much, because she's already a female version of her dad. Why do you need to have her dad help her then? Because she's already her dad. So, 4 stars though, very good match. So then we get what is the match of the night. The Hell in a Cell match. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. Straight up, half a star for this match automatically because of Shane's insane thing that he did off the cell. That was, yeah. And it is this match slow, yeah. But I still think it was a good 4-star match regardless. It had a lot of stuff. It did a lot of what it needed to do. And I think it actually told the story of what it needed to do. That Shane was trying Shane's whole strategy was to tire The Undertaker out. And he was doing that good. And it told that part of the story. And of course you get what is arguably what this WrestleMania is going to be remembered for, more than anything else, is Shane McMahon jumping off the Hell in a Cell onto The Undertaker. That was unnecessary. And I thought Shane was only going to go halfway. In fact, I think that's more of why the crowd was so stunned. Is because I don't think the crowd actually thought Shane would actually jump off the cell. But he did. He jumped off the cell. And he ultimately missed and then he lost. So, I don't know where this was going to go. But, let's see where it ends up going. I doubt it goes anywhere, to be honest. So, I always thought Shane was just a one-off to WrestleMania anyway. So, that's why I never picked him to win this match, because he was always kind of just going to be a runoff. But I am interested, if the WWE does decide to do this brand extension again, how they're actually logically going to come up with a reason for it, without Shane McMahon controlling something. 4.5 stars. Match of the night. So then we get the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Half a star. Battle Royal is nothing special. You had Tatanka was in this. I don't know. That was a shock. Diamond Dallas Page was in it. Okay. And then Shaquille O'Neal was in it. What was Shaquille O'Neal doing in a Battle Royal? Especially apparently just to pay off something that took place 7 years ago on Raw. But for once they did the right thing with this and had an NXT guy win it, being Baron Corbin. So let's see what they do with that. I doubt they do anything with it, mind you, but let's see if they do anything with it. Let's see what they do with it. I'm not going to talk about the Rock's match, because to me, the Rock's match was more of an angle than anything else. But if you are going to have The Rock beat a member of the Wyatt family in 6 seconds, it might as well be one of the trash members of that group, either Eric Rowan or Braun Strowman. And then John Cena shows up to help him fight off that. So, the Wyatt family already have one foot in the grave. Why not finish the job anyway, you know? 1 star. Like I said, that's not anything. I'm not even going to add it to the show. So, because it's more of an angle than anything else. So then we get the main event of a 5-hour show. This show went 5 hours and 45 minutes, which is probably the longest WrestleMania they've had. In fact, it is the longest WrestleMania they've had. And I really wish it was shorter because, trust me, sitting through a 5-hour show when I sat through 3 hours of the Hall of Fame, yeah, I watched 8 hours of wrestling. And if I add the 2 hours of the kickoff, which I sat through, I went through 10 hours of wrestling WrestleMania weekend. Probably would have been more, but I didn't watch NXT TakeOver Dallas. I will eventually sometime probably watch it, but I didn't watch WrestleMania weekend. Just because I know I was already going to be watching far longer than I wanted to for the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania itself. So, main event. Match that should not have main evented this show, which is Triple H's problem a lot when he main events these WrestleManias, is I think the reason a lot of his WrestleMania main events are so forgettable is a lot of them he should not have main evented the show in. The only one I can say he should have was 2022. And 2000's forgettable because it should not have been a fatal 4-way elimination involving the McMahons. 22's not a forgettable main event. That is what should have main evented that show. But 25 should have been main evented by Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. 18 should have been main evented by Rock and Hogan. And that's the problem. Triple H has been in a lot of forgettable WrestleMania main events because another match should have main evented. In this case, Shane and Undertaker should have main evented because the crowd, like I knew, was going to turn on this match. They cheered Triple H when he first came to the ring and they booed Roman Reigns. Not entirely out of the building, though. I think there were some cheers for him, but, it's kind of like a 60-40 boo-cheer ratio kind of thing. I know the only universal cheer that Roman Reigns got was when he speared Stephanie. And that's just because Stephanie's so good at being bad, even people that the people that smarts usually boo would cheer for beating up Stephanie because that's what Stephanie is. Stephanie's so good at being a heel that anytime she hits something, it's going to be a massive pop. But Reigns wins with the spear and clean. And they bring the confetti out, and then that's when the crowd already was out of this match. During this match, they chanted things like boring NXT. They chanted for Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't follow New Japan much, so I don't know who he is. Other than I know he was in the Bullet Club. That's all I know about him. I just don't follow New Japan much. I don't have a channel New Japan is on here in America, so I can't really watch that. And they were chanting Olay, NXT, all kinds of things. So, as far as the match goes, I think it's a 2.5 star match. I think it's an average match, but it should not have main evented this show. This match should have been right in the middle of the card. And they should have main evented, in my opinion, either the women's title match or the Hell in a Cell match. Both of which I think would have been better choices to main event this show. So, but the women are never going to main event WrestleMania. I don't even think they're ever going to main event a Big Four. So, yeah. So out of 40 stars, that's the main show's maximum. The show gets 20, which means it's a C. Which means, as a standalone WrestleMania, it's not that bad. But to make it be if it's one of the best WrestleManias depends on how the aftermath goes. So, because the bill was bad, so let's see where the aftermath ends up. If you like the video, like button's down there, subscribe button's down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.